Welcome back to another Micmac Tabletop review. Today we'll be taking a look at the IVER JOHNSON Hammerless 32 Smith & Wesson 2-inch top break 2nd generation model 2nd version revolver. This is the IVER JOHNSON Safety Hammerless top break 32 Smith & Wesson 2-inch 5-shot 2nd model 2nd version revolver. This little revolver is one of the oldest firearms I own. These Hammerless 32 Model 2s were produced between 1897 and 1908. So this gun is at least about 120 years old today. And here's the thing. It's only designed for black powder 32 caliber Smith & Wesson short ammunition, which is very hard to come by. Fortunately, today we have an alternative low pressure ammo available for just this type of gun that we're going to try out. Steinel Ammunition Company produces a 32 Smith & Wesson, commonly called the 32 Smith & Wesson Short, small bore, rimmed revolver, low pressure, low recoil cartridge designed for older pocket and police revolvers from the 1800s. And the advantage of these rounds is the low pressure and avoiding the corrosive messiness associated with black powder ammo. Of course, this ammo isn't cheap. With tax and shipping costs, we're looking at about $1.50 a round. Now, for its age, you really have got to appreciate this IVER JOHNSON Hammerless revolver's appearance. I think it's absolutely amazing. Just look at it. The nickel finish is downright excellent, yet probably around 120 years old. I've got to say that usually you see these with their nickel finish all flaking or flaked off. In fact, usually the entire gun is all beat to hell, but even the grips on this one are in very good condition. The IVER JOHNSON logo owl is facing forward on both grips as it should. Just excellent. But to be honest, given this gun's age and historical value, I don't plan to shoot it except for a few rounds just for this review. Otherwise, it's just a novelty conversation piece for my collection. And I think it's a good one. Note that this gun has a 2-inch barrel rather than the typical 3-inch. In fact, that's what got my attention. It's my understanding that 2-inch barrel IVER JOHNSON Hammerless break top 32 revolvers are not so common. There are those that will tell you that the 2-inch barrel Hammerless IVER JOHNSONs were probably just 3-inch revolvers shortened by a gunsmith, but given the flawless muzzle, crown, and nickeling on this one, I doubt that. Yes, the front sight seems to sit close to the engraving on the barrel here, but again, the finish is absolutely flawless. More importantly, I have found plenty of examples of 2-inch models out there, so I have no doubt this is a factory 2-inch. Perhaps not rare, but still a good find. I picked this gun up at a local gun show for $120 last year because it has a trigger safety lever, double top latch, and one-piece frame. I'm pretty sure it's a Model 2. Second variation, which would place it probably being produced in the middle of the first decade of the 1900s. I've never seen one looking this good or with a 2-inch barrel before, for that matter, so I just had to have it. So let's take a closer look. But before we do, let's make sure this gun is cleared first. And by the way, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. The IVER JOHNSON Company was started in 1871 by Norwegian gunsmith IVER JOHNSON as the IVER JOHNSON Arms and Cycle Work Company of Worcester, Massachusetts. The IVER JOHNSON Company eventually grew into a massive sporting goods mail order operation, driven by innovation, high quality, fair pricing, and effective advertising. At one time, IVER JOHNSON was also the largest firearms manufacturer in the world. In their day, IVER JOHNSON bicycles and firearms, especially shotguns and revolvers, were highly regarded, sought after, and respected. They weren't the top of the line, but rather functional, reliable, practical, and affordable. This little revolver probably sold for the equivalent of about $130 back in its day. So pretty affordable. Of course, these revolvers were popular before semi-automatics became the firearms of choice, and they were well enough made that many of them are still around today. IVER JOHNSON made a ton of these revolvers in different versions. They are affordable, popular, and well made. That's why you see them at gun shows all the time. Back to the company and its founder. In 1895, IVER JOHNSON died at the young age of 51 of tuberculosis, and his eldest son, Frederick, took over the reins of the company, effectively expanding it into one of the most successful companies in America. IVER JOHNSON's best-known marketing slogan, "Hammer the Hammer," referred to the hammer block safety and frame-mounted firing pin that prevented a revolver from firing accidentally if dropped on the hammer spur. introduced in 1904 on the IVER JOHNSON popular safety automatic double-action revolver line. The IVER JOHNSON OWL logo was recognized worldwide. By World War I, the company began focusing more on the production of small arms as it faced a growing demand for firearms. By 1975, the company had totally dropped its cycle side of its business, and the company's name was changed to IVER JOHNSON Arms Incorporated. And 2 years later, the company moved to Middlesex, New Jersey. In 1982, the production was moved again to Jacksonville, Arkansas, under the trade name IVER JOHNSON Arms Incorporated. However, without the development of newer, more modern firearm designs, the company's sales dropped significantly over the years, and its resources were eventually sold off to the American Military Arms Corporation in 1993. A few years ago, I did a review of a 1980s IVER JOHNSON TP-22 semi-automatic pistol. I called it the Baby Bond gun because of its similarity to the famous Walther PPK pistol. Pretty nice little 22 at a good price. You can still see that video at episode 2023-14 on my YouTube playlist. By the way, there was a new IVER JOHNSON Arms Company established in 2004, located in Rockledge, Florida, but has no relationship to the original company except the name and logo. The new IVER JOHNSON Company currently imports and customizes a line of 1911 pistols manufactured in the Philippines by Shooters Arms Manufacturing. As for the IVER JOHNSON Breaktop 32 revolvers, they were produced in a variety of models from 1890 to the 1940s. Single-action hammerless models like this one were produced from 1895 through 1908 and have distinct latch safety features. The hammerless models also have transfer bar safeties. The IVER JOHNSON Hammerless second model was produced from 1897 to 1908 and can be easily identified by its trigger safety lever like we see here. And one more thing, the serial number found under the left grip on this gun has no letter prefix, so that would narrow its age even further to probably 1908. Note that the later third model, produced from 1909 through 1940, had no trigger safety but was adapted for smokeless powder cartridges. Overall, about 700,000 IVER JOHNSON Hammerless second model revolvers were produced. Okay, as I said earlier, the IVER JOHNSON revolvers weren't top-of-the-line revolvers, but they were indeed well made for their time. They were produced for the common working man. Back in the day, Smith & Wesson or Colts were much better options, yes, but probably out of the reach of most of our grandpas. And quite frankly, my grandpa probably would have said IVER JOHNSON was more than adequate for the job and the money. As I said, this revolver was bought at a gun show and there's nothing that came with it. That's not unusual, especially given that the gun is probably 120 years old and the original box was made of cardboard. From what I could find, there may have been a bit of paperwork included originally as well. As for specifications, this gun has a top break hammerless 5-shot 32 short revolver with a 2-inch barrel. The frame, cylinder, barrel are all nickel-plated steel. No zinc alloy stuff here. The grips are a hard rubber type plastic. The trigger is double action only. There's no external safety, but there is a built-in trigger safety, so no Glocks were not the first. Plus the measured trigger pull weight itself averages 13.1 pounds, fairly substantial. Sights are a front blade and a small notch type sight on top of the latch brake here. There's no exposed hammer. The gun opens by this top latch here. There's an auto ejection of the spent shells when fully opened. Overall length is 5 3/4 inches. Barrel length is 2 inches. Overall height is 3 5/8 inches. Width is 1 1/8 inch at the cylinder. Unloaded weight is 12.2 ounces. If they're US movie connections, this is where I usually point them out. I expected old films, and I did find early Sherlock Holmes, Thin Man, and Bogart movies where you'd see IVER JOHNSON revolvers, but not this particular hammerless model. The only place I saw one was in a 2012 Italian Nero Wolfe TV series. A 3-inch IVER JOHNSON Hammerless 32 revolver is present in the opening credits of every episode. Now before we head to the range for a few shots, let's talk a little bit about this gun's function. This gun is pocket size small, but at 12 ounces it has a decent weight to it. I can only get 2 fingers around these grips, which themselves are quite narrow. So with my long fingers, I don't feel I have much purchase here. The top latch is easy to open, allowing for easy loading. The latch is sure and the cylinder can rotate freely. This rear sight is very small, but again, the hammerless 32s were more of a close-up point-and-shoot weapon. At 13 pounds, the trigger isn't something you're probably going to pull by accident, but it isn't going to help with accuracy either. But I will say that the trigger pull is smooth with a nice roll-off. Of course, the gun is hammerless, so double action only. Ejection of spent shells is facilitated by the auto lift of the shells when opened. You should do this so the spent shells drop out away from the gun, or they can fall back into the opening and get caught under the lifter and create a problem getting them out. By the way, I cleaned and oiled this gun and tested its function before bringing it to the range. It seems to be functioning fine so far. No cracks on the cylinder, frame, or barrel that I can detect. One more thing, although the Steinel ammo is supposed to be safe for shooting at old revolvers, I'm only going to fire off a few rounds. As I remarked earlier, this revolver is just too old to take too many chances. I'm not going to push it even for this video, and frankly, this ammo is just too expensive. Okay, time to try it out at the range. Okay, here we are at the range. I'm shooting these Steinel Ammunition Company 32 Smith & Wesson rounds. These are low pressure, low recoil cartridges designed to shoot safely in older pocket and police revolvers like this old IVER JOHNSON Hammerless revolver. But as I said, I'm only going to fire a few rounds for demonstration purposes. I'm using a profile target set to 15 feet. After all, this little 2-inch barrel revolver isn't a target gun. It was designed to function as a close-up defense firearm, so I'm not expecting much in the way of accuracy here, but let's see how I do. This is a really stiff trigger. It feels like more than 13 pounds. And this gun is so small I'm having trouble with my grip. Accuracy is okay, but these small grips in this trigger are a challenge. As for cons, from what I can see, the biggest complaint about the IVER JOHNSON Hammerless revolver is that it was only designed for black powder 32 Smith & Wesson rounds. Modern 32 Smith & Wesson short and low pressure ammunition is available today, but it can be hard to come by and a bit expensive. Some would also complain about the very small sights. The front blade sight is very narrow and this rear sight is just so tiny. 13-pound trigger may allow for safe carry, but with this gun's 2-inch barrel, you struggle with maintaining any reasonable sight picture. The grip is very small as well, so maintaining a firm grip hold is a challenge for anyone with large hands and long fingers like me. Also, if you try to break open the gun to eject the spent shells straight up, the shells tend to fall back into the cylinder under the ejector and can be a pain to remove. Finally, as a practical point, the 32 Smith & Wesson short is a rather weak round. And if you're thinking you might be able to get away with shooting just a couple of modern rounds through one of these little revolvers, here's an example of what can happen. This is a cylinder and barrel from another IVER JOHNSON Hammerless revolver that suffered a catastrophic failure when someone tried that. It could have been worse. My suggestion, don't even think about it. Now for pros, as a real pocket defensive firearm, this 2-inch barrel hammerless revolver may be a pretty good option. It's very small, compact, and light, and the 32 Smith & Wesson might be better than a 22 or 25 caliber firearm. In terms of carry, it's short, hammerless, and smooth all over. No snag points. It's got a pretty good safety trigger and heavy enough pull weight for safe carry. And as a revolver, it's basically point and shoot. Simple. No, not a target or plinking gun, but its accuracy is good for close-up get-off-me gun. With practice, it could be quite good. Good enough for its purpose, close-up. And if there's a bad round, just pull the trigger again. No fuss and very easy to maintain. Now, I'm not actually recommending this 120-year-old revolver for carry, but I am saying that it's a pretty well-made steel nickel-finished firearm and is probably more affordable than other similar pocket carry options. As for disassembly, like most revolvers, the hammerless IVER JOHNSON revolver is simple to maintain, and because it's a break-top revolver, maybe even simpler. No loading gate or ejector rod to mess with. Simply push up on the ambidextrous release here on the latch and swing the barrel up and away from the frame. You can even remove the cylinder by rotating it counterclockwise to unscrew it and pull it off the spindle for cleaning. And that's it. Reassembly is basically just the reverse. Now if you have hung up shell casings in the cylinder under the ejector, just remove the center spindle in the ejector and the shells can now be removed. It's actually a fairly simple design overall for easy cleaning. So what can you expect to pay for an IVER Johnson Hammerless 32 revolver today? To be honest, they have a rather wide range of values with prices fluctuating considerably. Conditions and current market demand will be the main focus. And does it come with an original box and paperwork? On average, according to True Gun Value, IVER Johnson Hammerless revolvers are worth about $160 today, based upon national sales data for 2025. About $35 less than their value this time last year, 2024. Of course, while this figure reflects market interest, this price is an average, meaning some sold for less, some sold for more. In general, for an IVER Johnson Hammerless 32 revolver in basic or fair condition, expect to pay about $100 to $200. For one in good to very good condition, expect a price from $200 to $400. And for one in exceptional condition or for a presentation or engraved specimen, expect prices from $500 to $1,000 or more. This one didn't come with its original box or paperwork, but it does appear to be approaching exceptional condition, and it's a less common 2-inch model. So how would I rate this 2-inch example for value? Personally, at the very least, I'd rate it in the $200 to $300 range, with it likely being worth a bit more. So for $120, I'd say I did okay. Now, before we end today's video, I'd like to remind you, if you haven't already, be sure to like, share, and subscribe down below. And thanks for watching. So in summary, the IVER Johnson Safety Hammerless 32 short 2-inch barrel 5-shot revolver is an all-steel, nickel-finished, double-action only, American-made pocket firearm with hard rubber plastic grips. The IVER Johnson Safety Hammerless 32 short 2-inch barrel second model revolvers were produced between 1897 and 1908 and featured a trigger safety lever and a top latch design. While IVER Johnson revolvers weren't maybe top of the line compared to Colts or Smith & Wessons of the era, they had a strong reputation for being functional, reliable, practical, and affordable. As such, IVER Johnson revolvers were very popular with the average population at the time, which has led to many of these revolvers still being seen at auctions and gun shows today. So wrapping up, what do I think of this IVER Johnson Hammerless 32 short revolver after a few months of owning it? Well, I admit I bought this one because of its unusual 2-inch barrel. I'd just never seen one before. And it's an excellent overall condition, and the fact that it's so old, yet still functional. And for only $120, I mean, you've got to love that. Okay, well basically its value is only as a collectible. As a black powder cartridge revolver, it's unusual but impractical today. And I'm okay with that. I like these old guns. The IVER Johnson Hammerless 32 short revolver deserves some attention as an historical example of some of the best of American early gun manufacturing. Personally, I think the IVER Johnson Hammerless revolvers from this era represent an important time in our history, and how one company recognized the need to respond to the necessities of the common man to exercise his freedom to own a fairly decent yet affordable self-defense firearm. Any weapon you carry is better than the one you left at home. Thanks for watching. Hope you'll be back for my next tabletop review. Until next time, stay safe.